We'll talk about stage 2 audit now. Stage 2 audit, which is done on site, and its purpose. Now, we'll talk about remote audit, can also be considered on site in certain circumstances, but assume for the moment that you are in the premises of your audit client. So it shall take place at client site to evaluate implementation and effectiveness of management system as it is documented as per ISO 17021 2015 standard. Now here is a new standard we're talking about. 17021 is a standard which a certification body follows for performing certification audits. And when they get accreditation audit by their accreditation body does audit on your certification body based on 17021. Shall at least include auditing of information and evidence of conformity to all requirements of applicable management system standard and other normative documents. So if there is a normative documents referred in the standard, those requirements are also part of the scope of audit. Performance monitoring and measuring, reporting and review against key performance objectives and targets, clients' conformity to applicable statutory, regulatory, and contractual requirements. So what we see, as I mentioned in the earlier stage, we are not assessing compliance to statutory requirement or legal requirement. We see that there is a process by which organization has got identified people and the processes to identify the legal requirement applicable for their business or the management system we're talking about. So when we are talking about ISO 9001 standard, the organization is required to identify statutory requirement with regard to quality management system. For example, if you are manufacturing a pressure vessel in US, you have to follow ASME codes because this has got legal importance, legal implications. Now, if you are making the pressure vessel in India, you have to comply with CCOE requirement, Chief Controller of Explosives. If you make a boiler, you have to follow IBR regulation, Indian Boiler Regulation. So these are statutory requirements with regard to the products or the services. If you are offering a service, for example, you are supplying some products. So if there's a trade embargo in the country where you are operating, you are operating and offering your services, you cannot import any product from the country where there is a trade embargo with your own country of operation because there will be breach of legal requirements. So legal requirement with regard to the products and services that you are offering. Some companies are doing export. Now imagine you are exporting onions or rice, for example, and you are exporting from India to the Middle East. And Government of India, for its own requirement, has suspended temporarily export of rice or onion or any product for that matter. So at that point of time, you cannot export those products. And this becomes your legal requirement to comply with your export regulation. So this is how you have to see what are the regulation applicable to your business. And that's the kind of legal requirement you have to comply with. So we as an auditor would like to know that these are the kind of regulation applicable to them. And we see whether they have got a process that they will identify those requirements and they are in compliance. Operational controls of clients' processes. Whatever operational processes are required, those things are controlled, under control. Internal audit results and management review. It's mandatory. Management responsibility for the client's policies. So you have to ensure that the top management is demonstrating their commitment and taking accountability of the effective implementation of management system.